Oh, hey man, how are you?
Yeah, so okay, Andres, can you listen to me?
Yes.
Andres? Okay,
Hey,
yeah.
hello, teacher.
Okay, Andres, I am okay. And Brendan, can you listen to us?
Yes, I'm listening to you and also your student.
Okay, Andres, can you listen to the students, Brendan?
Yes, I listen.
Okay,
And you,
well,
the other
okay. That is
teachers.
very, very important for us. So, let me introduce you. Andres, and you can introduce and see who you are, Andres. Brandon, ask Brandon where he's from, and he tells you things to know about what he does. Okay, Andres, please.
Mm-hmm. Okay, man. First of all, let me introduce myself. And it is
Okay.
Brendan, as you see, but my real name is Ehsan, and I'm originally from Iran. It's a pleasure to see you, and it's an opportunity, to see Annabelle after a couple of years again.
Okay, well, so I said you're welcome, Brandon, because I remember that, when people have a good memory, they will never forget friends of mine.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay,
Okay, would you like to introduce yourself?
yeah, so now, well, let's give us a chance to Andres. Andres, can you please tell us who you are, and what you do? This is a very important way to get in contact with someone who lives in other country.
Yes, hello, Brandon. My name is Andres. I'm from Colombia. I live in Cali. I am practicing English because it's very important for me and for my
Mm-hmm.
work. Yes.
Yeah, that's great. And what's your purpose? Why do you want to learn English? Just for what your work?
Yes, I am doctor. I am head and neck of surgeon, and I
Mm-hmm.
am studying in Europe and in
Mm-hmm.
USA. In Europe with the association with microsurgical
Mm-hmm.
head and neck surgery for reconstruction with the European Society of Microsurgery Reconstruction, and
Mm-hmm.
No, Andres?
But what happened? It got
Uh,
cut up.
yes, I don't know. Maybe his connection, but hold on a second. Maybe Andres will reconnect again. I think something happened.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for him. No problem.
Okay. Yes, but
Eh,
and tell us about you, Brandon. How do you spend? Okay, and now Andres is ready. Andres, can you please repeat the last 2 minutes because your screen was frozen. So can you please repeat what you said the last 2 minutes, Andres?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, they repeat the.
Yeah, because we lost your connection, Andres. So
Uh,
the last 2 minutes was, or 1 minute, it was off. So now can you please tell us the last the last minutes
okay,
you explained us?
okay. The explication because I need this study English is because I am doctor. I am
Mm-hmm.
this moment um, I am doing a fellowship in a fellow in reconstruction in microsurgery in
Mm-hmm.
Europe, the Society International European
Mm-hmm.
uh, of Microsurgery, and
Yes.
I have a class or models in Europe. These models are in English. Uh, this
English. Mm-hmm.
yes, Okay, yes. Is
And how long have you been practicing English?
the previous practice with the with 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 respect to microsurgery? Oh,
Oh, I say that how long is it that you are practicing English?
the how long time?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Oh, is uh, in general in my college, the English class, I was in the contact with English, but it's not good in my college. And then with I went to first time to USA, more or less
Mm-hmm.
20, mm, 10 or 15 years old. I
Mm-hmm.
studied English to and to for my travel, and I was studying for 1 month in Chicago
Mm-hmm.
in an institute, and
Mm-hmm.
then in other opportunities I I have been studying English in
Yeah,
Colombia
that's great.
and
Mm-hmm.
other countries, traveling in class or studying in the other countries. Yes.
Yeah, excellent. And how many hours a day do you study English?
In actually more or less 2 hours,
Mm-hmm.
I tried study English. Uh,
Yeah.
in class with the teacher Hannibal or reading or listen movies. I don't know, different
Yeah,
forms.
yeah, that's great.
Where I'm sorry.
Another
Where,
question.
where are you from?
I'm from Iran.
Where you
Iran.
Iran.
Iran?
Iran.
You
Yes, yes.
where is Iran?
Eh,
Is
Iran. Do you know Iran?
Iran.
Yeah.
Iran. Oh, oh my good. Is the first person with in my life from Iran when who I speak in English. Iran, nice.
Yeah, thank you.
I know uh, uh, a few things about Iran. More is the no, noticias is
News.
the news with
Oh,
respect
the
to
news.
Iran and Orient, Medium Orient,
Yeah. Middle East.
Mm-hmm.
Orient,
Yeah,
yes, yes.
Middle East.
How do you do? What is your work, or do you studying?
Yeah, no, I graduated 5 years before, and my major is industrial engineering, and
Uh,
now I'm a commercial expert. We are exporting glass to other countries.
okay, yes, okay. But in this moment, where do you live?
I live in Iran.
Iraq. And in what city? In
Which city? Tehran, capital of Iran.
the capital? Yeah.
It is Tehran. It is called Tehran.
So
Yeah.
the capital.
Yeah,
Tehran.
the capital.
Yeah.
Tehran.
Tehran, yes.
Tehran.
Uh, okay, that's good.
And
And what would you like to know about me? Just ask me and I'm at your service.
Uh,
yeah, Andre, he tells you that ask him question to know who he is. Asking question.
okay, yes. Uh, with
Remember,
respect,
remember you have many questions to ask.
yes, to your name is Brian
Or you can call me Brendan. Yes.
Brandon.
Hmm.
How many years old do you have?
Brenda, he wants to ask you how old are you?
Yeah, I'm 29.
How many?
20,
29.
29.
29. Okay. And with respect to to country, how what is the situation in this moment? Is sure who is safe or I don't know.
Oh, ye- yes, to be honest, our country is secure, and maybe it's a propaganda that you hear, I mean, on the news that Iran is not secure at all. It is insecure, and you'd better, I mean, not to go to Iran. But it's not correct at all. Don't listen to the news. And also, yeah, we have kind of, sanctions because United States, are imposing new sanctions day by day. And kind of, the economic situation is not that good. But we have to, what we can say, put up with it, and I hope that the situation will get better in the near future.
No, okay. Yes, but in this moment the country is better with respect to uh,
Hmm.
other years ago. Okay.
Yeah.
The, in general the most popular religion is Islamic or
Yes, we are Muslim.
Muslim, no?
Hmm.
Okay. Yes.
Hmm. And what is your local language? I mean, native language? Is it Spanish?
Yes, my language is Spanish. You speak
Oh, to
Spanish?
be honest, I am fond of the Spanish language, and it's been, I mean, a couple of days that I talked to one of my friends. She's living in, Spain, and she told me that if you want to learn a Spanish language, along with, English, at times you get mixed up, and it takes time. Just, keep up with it, and after, I mean, 1 year, you can keep up with it, and you can speak, Spanish better, but it's a
No.
long-term process, and I have to be patient. So I'm gathering some references, and if you can introduce some, I mean, good references regarding your language, I'm all ears.
Okay. In your country, what is your
Our,
language?
our language is Farsi.
What is, excuse me?
It
Far,
is Farsi.
Farsi. And
Farsi, yes.
is only in your country or in other countries
No, it's
near?
just our country. Our country, it is our native language, and also in other countries, Tajikistan, yeah, they are talking, Farsi, but it is a bit different. But yeah, we have lots of similarity.
No, okay, okay. Good. But with respect to the economic, is what is the principal production in your country, for example, the economic, then with respect.
Production, uh, it is oil. We are exporting
Ah,
oil, and we have oil fields here, and also refineries. And yeah, the revenue is really high, and we have been exporting, to lots of countries. But nowadays it is a bit a strict, situation because the U.S. is really sensitive regarding, I mean, this product, but we are still doing it.
okay, yes. Good. In here in Colombia, the principal production, I think, is the flowers to export to USA and Europe, and coffee. The coffee
Mhm.
is famous in the world, and the petroleum, but less. In Venezuela, they are more oil with respect to Colombia. But
Yeah. And
yes,
one interesting thing, I wanted to tell you regarding one football player in Colombia in the past. It was Carlos Valderrama, as I remember.
yes, yes. The, sorry, the
You know him?
yes, I feel. Uh, what is
I just pronounce it Carlos Valderrama, but I don't know about the exact pronunciation of his name.
this nick? I don't understand the.
So
I mean the football.
yeah. So
Uh,
he asked you that he didn't understand why you said, you said drama. So can you
I
play?
s-
Yeah.
yeah, I just wanted to say that one of your football player, in your country, it was Carlos. The name was Carlos Valderrama.
Okay.
Am I
Yeah.
right?
Yes. Yeah. But maybe the way you were saying is, Andres, he's talking about one of the famous football player in Colombia, Carlos
Football
Valderrama.
player.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pibe.
Okay. Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
he
Right.
knows about this reference of Carlos Valderrama, So Carlos Valderrama, Brandon, he is one of our reference football player. No matter he is retired at this moment, but everybody in Colombia loves Valderrama because the time he played soccer, he left great footprints, so people remember this, but it is good that you can remember Valderrama, Brendan.
Mhm. Yeah, I was at that time I was maybe 6 or 7 years old, but
Oh,
I like to watch his game, his match, and also it was really interesting for me. I can't forget it.
yeah, and right now there are new football players that are also standing our country throughout the world. And one of them, well, there are many. James Rodriguez, he's one of them. Falcao, I don't know if you have heard of Falcao. No,
Yes.
Yeah,
because
it's
Yes.
reasonable.
yeah, and he
Mhm.
plays in France.
Yeah, yeah. I know some of them, but unfortunately, I'm lacking in time these days. I just, have 3 or maybe 4 hours a day. So my only choice is practicing English and also reading my own books. And that's why, because be short on time, I don't
Mhm.
have it, to watch any movies. Football match.
Yeah, and I also want to ask you a question, Brenda. And how have you been
Yeah, sure.
feeling since you have been practicing your English? Better since
Yes.
how many hours do you practice your English per day or per week? So tell us about this.
Uh, yeah, at least I practice English 2 hours a day,
Every day.
every day without any pause.
Okay.
No, but how you practice trade practice English all day for your work is possible is possible practice English with other person. Do you speak English or how?
Uh, yes, I have some friends and we just get together on Skype and also we have kind of, free discussion each night.
Uh-huh.
Because, learning English is a long road and nobody can claim that to be an expert in English. Every day, we have to study, we have to enlarge, the vocabularies in our mind and also activate some of the idioms and it takes time. And yeah, after it was 3 years that I'm, studying English and now it goes on.
Very, very good. Congratulations. It's important
So thank you.
study English all time for to learn English, and your English is well. Or do you have a good English? Uh, And but is easy in your country to learn English in general for the
No, no,
population?
not at
Or,
all.
or no?
Uh, Unfortunately, our educational system is a bit weak, and we can learn English, in university and also in high school. And that's why you have to be determined to learn it. And also, if you go to an institution, after 4 or 5 years, maybe you are stammering, tongue-tied regarding talking, English, and just it's up to you to choose and to find a way how to learn and how to be fluent in English. And I did it just by, Skype and some other softwares. Fortunately, it is kind of, accessible for me to talk to people from other nations. And I did it. But in our country, it's a bit strange. When I go somewhere to do an interview, they say that, oh, your English is kind of good. How did you learn English? I say that I did it by myself. It was a kind of, self-study. And maybe, at times they get surprised.
No, okay, yes. But English in the college is a material is, for example, in Colombia, it's obligatory to study English in the college. In your country is same or
Yeah. In college, we are studying books, but just studying one book and also, memorizing some of the vocabularies is kind of useless. You have to learn how to use them in your speech. And
yeah.
so just by practicing, and it is, famous phrase, practice makes perfect. And you have to speak all the time. And also I have to recommend you, don't be afraid of, your mistakes. And you have to, mistake. And after a couple of, months, you can learn how to correct yourself. And maybe at the first it's really difficult and you are a bit shy. You say that if I make any mistakes, they laugh at me. No, no matter at all. At the first when I was starting to speak English, and it was speaking 24, 3 years before, I didn't care about anything and just started talking. And little by little, I, realized that, I'm getting better and better. And just it's a process. And if you go on, you realize that you are getting better. Don't worry at all.
No, okay, yes. But in general, how many persons speak English or know they also speak and listen English in your country, more or less?
Oh, maybe uh, 10%.
10%? Okay.
Yes.
But in Colombia, I don't know, I think it's less than 1%. No? Well,
Oh,
Yes,
yeah, my God.
maybe, yes. The
it's
amount of people in
over.
Colombia who know how to speak English is not too many, but they know that actually through you see through the globalization, internet or something like this, people they have the need to learn how to speak English. Professional people, but it's easy to meet people, for example, people from bilingual schools that they know, since they start learning, in the kindergarten, they start learning to speak English. But there is a new
Mm-hmm.
generation at the moment who that they
Mm-hmm.
want to learn or they have to make their own efforts to learn how to speak English. Everybody knows
Mm-hmm.
English is the first commercial language spoken throughout the world, so people decide to learn how to speak it. But it's really a truly commitment that people need to keep in their mind if they want to speak English. For example, I really admire those people who feel the great commitments to, because English depends on a lot of practices. If one person has no a good discipline, if the person has no a good dedications to improve the language, it's possible that the process of this person may take longer. But if the person is
Mm-hmm.
really
Yes.
conscious and the person said, I really want to improve my language. I don't know when, but I need to establish some parameters to support my language. And that's it. I just listened to
Yeah.
you when you said that you spend 2 hours per day. This is really important for you. And you feel that English becomes part of your professional life, right?
Yeah, exactly. Because I need it, and English nowadays, English is all my life. I have an addiction for English, and I can never, do it at times when I don't study English one day. It's a kind of guilty conscience for me. Why didn't you study English, and what happened to you today? You have to study, and before going to sleep, I try to review some other vocabularies and also study one book, and it can give me some good feeling.
And I have a question, Brenda. What kind of do you watch movies in English? But you watch European movies, or you watch American movies in English?
I like American accent, and that's why every chance that I get, I try to watch, an American movie. But
Hmm.
nowadays, it is getting less and less because I don't have time to watch movie. I just listen to VOA, radio, in order to, improve my listening. Yeah, that's it. The only, method that I'm following nowadays.
Okay, and since you started speaking to people through our internet, um, I know that it's a global question because it's sometimes a little hard for people trying to listen to people from other countries who don't have a good accents, and people do not understand because they speak or so fast, or they speak so slow, or they speak so
Mhm.
slowly, or they have no the enough control and people do not understand. So since you started speaking English, and which zone or what area of the country or the global you may feel more identified to speak English, Brendan?
Mm-hmm. Annabelle, it was 3 years before one of my friends introduced me. Speaking 24, and I
Mm-hmm.
joined. At the first, I didn't have, confidence, and I thought maybe, I am really terrible in English. And when I started talking to people from Italy, Poland, and some other countries, I realized that they are not good at English. It's not just my problem. It's, the problem of lots of people around the world. And so it gave me, kind of a good confidence. And I started talking again, and each night I participated in this site day by day. And also I started listening to, some podcasts. And I found some friends, from my country, Iran, and we made a pact, to hold our sessions each night, 1 hour a day. And little by little, increased, the hour of study.
Mm-hmm.
And fortunately, after 3 years, I can communicate, and I'm grateful for all those efforts that I did.
Yeah, but it's really I because I remember when I was speaking to you, as you said to me 2 years ago, and now there is a very big progress on your English.
It's kind of your animal. Oh, just I wanted to ask you and get some feedback as a teacher. How do you see my speaking animal?
Well, as I was telling you before, it's so good. And now I see your progress because, um, if I have classified, as I said to you earlier, the accents of people who speak in English, they have, for example, if you speak a person who is, for example, from Africa, or for example, from China, or from Japan, or from, their native language plays a very important role in identifying the student's accent, you know. But no matter
Mm-hmm.
these situations that some students need to face out day by day, you know, their own commitment, you know, because they have self-identification and they can see that the problem is not my native language, you know, the problem is that I need to speak and to make my English progresses more, you know. Some
Mm-hmm.
person told me one day that it's better when you try to speak the language in the accent of the language, no matter where you come from. Now, I am from France,
Mm-hmm.
but I need to speak English according to the English accents. But no matter if I am
Mm-hmm.
from France or if I come from Egypt or I come from India or I come from maybe Ivory Coast, it doesn't matter the place
Mm-hmm.
where you come from. The idea is that I need to modulate my voice. I need to have great tutors, or maybe the people who I like to speak English with, they allowed me to express my own ideas, and I have the connections to make my English improvement involving my
Mm-hmm.
accents to speak English. And that is really a process
Mm-hmm.
because I can see that since I met you, you know, a couple of years, and I see that a great progress. But at the beginning, your speaking was a little not so clear as I can listen to you at this moment, you know. So it's really a good progress. But the great conclusion that we can take out, Brenda, is that we only need to practice. You know, the more you practice, the better you will understand. The more you practice, the better you will get in contact and you make your English progresses. Do you understand what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Yeah, I see, Hannibal. Yeah, I see. How about you, bro?
Yes, Andres, he
So,
asked you. He asked us.
yes, Brandon, uh, why is the uh, important for you speak or to learn English for your work or for in general? I don't know. Yeah.
Yes, it is, relevant to my work. And also, if I quit my job, I still practice English. Because as I told you, English is all my life.
No. Oh my. Yes.
I'm addicted to it.
Okay. Yes.
But that is a strong word. You say addicted to
Exactly.
it.
Uh, is do you interested in other language or only English?
Yeah, as I told you, Spanish language. It is the second one that I'm enthusiastic to learn. But I'm at a total loss for finding, some good references because I don't want to waste my time finding, some books and also studying it. And after a couple of months, I realize that it's not good. I have to put it away and start another one. And it's a great opportunity for me that I'm meeting Annibal and I want to consult Annibal for, learning Spanish. What's your recommendation, Annibal?
Well, to learn Spanish. Well, I think
Yes.
I remember to that question. I remember one person told me one day when one person learns to speak one language, and the person decides to learn a second language, the method is similar, so we have to apply the same sequences that we use to learn the first language. And right now, if for example, how do you develop the way to learn to speak English? Maybe if you move back, you can say, okay, when I first started speaking English, I needed to learn vocabulary. I needed to practice my English with people who speak English. I needed to learn pronunciation. I needed to learn, how to listen to the language, and I needed to learn how to read. And that scenery is going to be, easier for the person who plans to study in the language. So this way, if you want to learn how to speak Spanish or maybe to improve your Spanish, I think is similar. Try to meet people who speak Spanish as a native language, and maybe
Mm-hmm.
you need to log into forums, or because the practice that with people who really speak Spanish as a native language is very
Mm-hmm.
important. This process, and I think that's not only the way to listen to people, but also the studies. You need to learn vocabulary, the grammar in Spanish. There's a very, very great difference from Spanish grammar and English grammar. No matter, people have to make emphasis on the same context because they need to learn parts of speech, verb, adverbs, nouns, articles, pronouns. You see conjunctions,
Mm-hmm.
interjections, all about this. And the same similarities, they have to be applied in the second language people want to learn. For that reason, I think it's only a matter of identifying, and when. As all the language that we speak, you know, each language deserves time. If you have no time to spend practicing, that is another problem. So the good reasons to speak, as you said to us earlier, you said, I love, it's my life. The same intentions you need to
Mm-hmm.
keep when you want to improve, you want to learn Spanish. I think so. I have friends who speak 4 or 5 languages, and they say, wow. But the good thing is when you know how to learn one language in addition. It's easier to learn the second one, and it's easier when you learn the third one. But this is a matter of commitment. You need to spend time because the process is this. It's impossible to speak a language if you don't know vocabulary. It's impossible to speak a language if you don't know grammar structures. It's impossible to speak a
Mm-hmm.
language if you don't listen to people who speak the language. Do you understand me,
Oh
Raven?
yeah. Mhm. Yeah, yeah, I completely understand you, Annabelle, and maybe it's better to set a goal for myself why I'm gonna learn Spanish. Without any goal, maybe, I will, abandon it again. And for English, it happened to me. I was really enthusiastic and determined, and I was motivated, and it helped me a lot. And nowadays, we encounter lots of people. They say that I just like to speak English. I ask why. Why do you want to learn English? They say it's a universal language, and you have to know what they say. It is not a goal. It's just something temporary. And after a couple of month, maybe you quit it, and if you want to start it again, you need a new motivation, and that's why. First of all, it's better to set a goal for yourself. Why do you want to learn English, and what is your intention? And after that, you know how to follow it.
Yeah. So, what do you think of that, Andres? About what he said, what I said. Now, what's your opinion?
With respect to the English,
Yeah.
the English or Spanish. Now, with respect to the English, I think for me the most important to learn is for the necessity to uh, uh, learn English because, for example, in my case, I am doctor, but the principal articles, the principal books are in English. When I go the other country, the conference, the congress are in English. For example,
Mm-hmm.
the last year I was in Argentina. In Argentina, speak Spanish, but the congress, the uh, head and neck surgeon congress was in Argentina, and the language was English. Yes, and then, for example, in this diploma, in this study with respect to microsurgery, the principal organization is localized in Barcelona, but
Mm-hmm.
the teachers and the students speak only English. To in this moment, I think the English is the principal language for the Occidental person. For example,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, in China, I think the the persons, the Chinese, speak more Mandarin, but I don't know in the near to countries speak is most important for the countries speak Mandarin, but no English. I but
Mm-hmm.
yes, for all is important. In my case, for for my profession, but if I need travel other country, it's more easy if you speak English. Uh, and then in other countries, for example, in France, uh, when you stay in this country, uh, many persons don't speak English, but it's more easy if you speak English to travel. Uh, yes, this is my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
In general, it's important to learn uh, any language is the necessity if you have to learn this language. This is, for example, I read with respect to the necessity to persons or people, the Latin American, is not very necessary because we have a lot of countries around speak the same language. For example, Central America, South America, in general speak Spanish, and there aren't the necessity to speak other language. To
Mm-hmm.
difference in Europe, for example, each country speak one language, and it's important for this person speak learn all many language. Yes.
Yeah, that is
Mm-hmm.
true. So, what do you think, Brenda, of what Andres said?
Oh, yeah, I just want to point out something. You know, necessity is good, but first of all, you have to look at your motivation. And also, if you are passionate about English, it can skyrocket, I mean, of the process of learning. And just necessity is something, if you reach your goal after that, maybe you, quit. And maybe you don't need English anymore. But for me, I'm passionate about it. Every day I'm trying to improve my accent. I'm trying to, learn more vocabularies. I know that now at the moment I can communicate, and maybe for someone who wants to speak English is enough, at this point, this level that I'm at. But it is not my intention. Every day I'm trying to be better and better. And it's just something, to talk to someone, strangers and also foreign people. And, it is my goal now. I've set, lots of goals for myself, and that's why I have to be excellent in English. So just don't look at necessity. You have to be passionate about English. It can help you to study English without any tiredness.
Yes, I really agree with that. So that's a very interesting and good conclusion. You see that each person who speaks the language knows that if you don't have the need, or maybe in certain ways, some people know how important the language is, and they decide not to learn it because they said, I don't have the need. But yes, I think as a cultural condition, people who want to get in contact with other ones, they need to know at least how to speak one language in addition. Because right now we see, and why not to speak the most commercial language spoken throughout the world? And English really opens, frontiers. English opens borders. English is really, really a great area to learn. And I don't know if it happens to your country, Brendan, that there are areas in your country in where people feel more connected with English, or maybe, for example, it's just a matter of passion about it, or there are areas where some people feel, delighted with English, or maybe it depends on the person, it depends on people. What do you think of this?
Hmm. Hmm. It depends on the person, Annabelle. As I told you, passion is something that, it varies from person to person. For me, as I told you, it's not just a matter of communication. Talking to people from other nations. It is not enough for me. I want to be more professional in English. That's why it can help me to be more motivated every day. And whenever I get home, it is around, 7. I just have 2 or 3 hours to, rest and also study. And I prefer not to rest. I spend all the time, on studying English. And after studying English, I never get tired. And even, I feel something, energetic. And whenever I put my head on the pillow, I try to listen to English, but it is not kind of a pressure for me. No, not at all. And nobody, forces me to speak English. Nobody forces me, to study English. Now, it is my passion, and I am fond of English. As I told, it is all my life. It's the secret, and I have to say, it's the key to success.
Yeah, that is true. And what about what do you think of methodologies to get in touch with English? I remember, I think last year I met someone online, and this person says that it's better to learn words, 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 words. And he said to me that in his country, because this man is from Poland, he says to me that in his country he got a teacher, and his English teacher said that if they learn or they teach students certain amounts of words. For example, they say,
Mm-hmm.
for this group, we are going to teach you 1,000 words, so, and they only learned words, okay. The second group will have to learn 2,000 words, okay, so 2,000 words. And when you grow up or you go to the next level, you need to learn at least 3,000 words, and and later on 4,000 and maximum 5,000 words. And this person says to me that in his country, the group of people who learn at least 5,000 words, 5,000 words, you have the enough conditions to speak whatever you want to, because you have enough
Mhm.
vocabulary to speak, you know. I think is
Mhm.
well, it's a good, well, in certain ways, people have to recognize that when you speak English, English is more than good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Has English has more context that we need to apply, but vocabulary plays a very important role, and learning new words day by day is really, really, truly important. As a matter of fact, I think that if the person feels the need and really committed to learn new words, they will have to, reading newspaper. And this person said,
Mhm.
where can you get sources, to learn new words? Right now, the other person responded and said, okay, right now, English is throughout internet. If you go to some pages, some sites, you may get in contact with English reading, for example. You can get in contact with
Mhm.
newspapers. You can get, but reading is also another way how people get, they improve vocabulary words. But reading, but I think is when you read, reading is not the only way. When you only read because you read. Now I read because I'm going to sit down with a piece of paper and with a pencil or with a pen and just to take out new words. Soon after I learn the words, I'm going to what? To look up those new words into a dictionary, or you search them in the net, and then to learn. No matter if you spend a lot of hours learning new words, or if you spend a few hours, but learning vocabulary will play a very important role in this sequence of improving the language. Do you understand me?
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, I understand you completely, Annabelle. I just want to tell you something. Uh, it can work for me. I just want to tell you the process of learning for myself. When I want to learn, each word I have to know it some phrases. I never learn, one single word because it is useless for me. First of all, I have to check it in, some dictionaries. Oxford, Cambridge, and some others, and know how to use it in one sentence. The preposition, and it can help me. So I write down, some phrases, and I try to repeat it all the time, how to use it in my conversations. And
Mhm.
also as you know, we have some, active and also passive vocabulary in our mind. When somebody asks me how I can learn, vocabulary, I say, first of all, try to increase your passive vocabularies, and little by little, when you see it in some context, you can, turn it into, active ones, and you have to listen a lot, and listening definitely can help you. So just by listening, you can improve it, and as your listening is getting better and better, it seems that your speaking is getting better and better. And also, you have to speak. You have to make, some mistakes. And when you make some mistakes, you realize that was, it was not correct, and I have to correct it again. For the next one, you try to focus on it again, and after a while, you see that yeah, it is getting, active.
Okay, well, so that's really interesting. What do you think of that address about what Brandon says, the way, his own way to learn vocabulary?
Yes, he's very, very well. The is the very studious, or I will use muy estudioso.
Yeah,
Yes,
very committed. to study.
very good. And English. Yes. And your work is same? You are very, very well,
Very
studious
committed. Yes, committed to study. Yeah,
to study
yeah.
in your work is the
Brendan?
question.
Yeah, I'm listening to you. Yeah, thank you. It's kind of you. And commitment really can help you a lot. And if you have commitment, to studying English, and I promise you, before long you will be fluent in it. And just have confidence, and also just try to move on and don't, stop at all. And also motivation can help you a lot. First of all, set a goal for yourself. Why do you want to learn English? Every day you have to ask it, and also it can help you to find your real goal.
Yes,
Okay.
I really agree with that. So, and it's not, so nothing will be learned without any motivation, So, but one person who really assumes, the conditions to improve the language, the person needs to follow certain steps and and read and practice and do this and do this. For example, Andres, what do you do, for example, to improve your vocabulary? How do you improve your vocabulary? Do you sit down to repeat and repeat and listen and repeat, or you see a word, okay, I take notes and I practice, I look at the meaning of this word in the dictionary, or I search for the meaning online and learn. Because you see that it's not common that most of the vast majority of the students, they sometimes only see the word, but they don't use it to memorize it. And the idea is my English grows up and my vocabulary grows up too. I improve my listening, I improve my speaking, I improve my reading, I improve all the skills, but what about vocabulary? In this case, what do you do, Andres, to improve your vocabulary and to memorize new words?
Yes, Annabelle, to be honest. Sorry, you are asking this question, from me?
Yeah, okay, yeah, that.
Oh, okay, okay. Okay. To be honest, I have one application on my cell phone. It is called, Anki Droid. And each word that I encounter, I, write it down. And also I try to find at least three examples of, this word, how I can use it in one context. Different contexts, not just one. And also if I listen to something, I try to find some examples of, this word. And every day I review. And it is kind of, automatic. For instance, if the application asks, this question today, it goes, to days after, and now it is repeated, 4 days after, and it can become 8 and also 16, and after 1 month, it is going to my long-term memory. And that's why review is really important. For one time it is not enough. And so English is something, for me it's a foreign language, so if I want to be fluent in it, it needs some kind of hard effort. And that's why every day when I go to work, at least I have 1 hour. So during this 1 hour, I just review the vocabularies. And also when I come back home, I still, I have to still review the vocabularies again. And also at home, I read, maybe 1 or 2 hours, study. And on the whole, it can become, 4 hours a day that I'm studying English. So I just, removed, 2 hours that I'm reviewing, vocabulary during, going and coming back from work.
Okay, well, interesting. So now let's listen to Andres.
When I read, I try to identify the words I don't know, and I write in a book. In a, I write and the consult in dictionary, and I try to memorize the word. Uh, and other options
Mm-hmm.
are when for me it's difficult. For example, I read, but when I pronounce is different. I think when I I listen other other person speaking English, is possible. I know the the word, but if the pronunciation is different, and then I don't understand how uh, say. Uh, but I think is important the practice and uh, uh, listen, read, speak English. All is a process, but I think is easy. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Just last recommendation, sorry, don't use a bilingual dictionary. Just try to use English dictionary. I never do it. I mean, we have, I mean, Farsi and also English dictionary, but I prefer to use English dictionary such as, Cambridge and also Oxford ones, and they can help me a lot. When I look at it, it can help me, I mean, to increase the ability of, translation.
Okay, yes, because it's more easy in Google traductor Google, write the word and the traduction, but yes, it's better with dictionary the English, no?
Yes, monolingual dictionary, just English dictionary. Uh,
Yes, yes, yes.
I think it's really
Mhm.
important. It's really really important. And then how about the listening skill? How do you get in contact with listening? Do you have to play a video and listen to it several times, or only to listen to something and no more, just one time and okay, next? Because I think that, for example, I remember that in one occasion I had one student who lives in the United States, who lives in Miami, and he told me one occasion that he was very bad at listening to something. He said, "No, teacher, it's very different when I listen to one person speaking in English in front of me than when I listen to one audio, or when I watch a movie. My listening is so bad. I try, but it's impossible. And in one occasion, I was doing some investigations and with another partner, and that we were surfing the net and looking for reasons why people they have some differences when they watch a movie and try to listen to a movie, even though when they listen to songs or when they have to listen to native English speaking people. So there are several variations when you listen to someone speaking in front of you, when you listen to an audio, when you listen to a podcast, or when you listen to, for example, a movie. you know and the great conclusion
Mhm.
that we could took out was that, when we listen to or watch a movie, the movie, most of the characters, depending on the type of movie, the type of story they want to tell, you know, in English, when you watch a movie, the English they use is very informal. So most of the characters
Yeah.
in there, they don't follow, a line and a line context. They don't do like this, for example. Okay, Uh, do you
Mm-hmm.
speak English? Do you play? Sometimes, and it's not the way how we teach, and they say, you speak English? No, for example, you speak English. At school we teach, do you speak English? And the student pretends to listen to or to find, do you? And in real life, in some movies or some characters, depending on the plot of the story, they don't use grammatical context, and you understand, okay, and for example, and they use terms that are really spoken on the street, or there are some terms that are not exactly as in the common formal English is spoken. That is one variation. Another variation that we can find in there is that the way, the speed of speaking, the speed of speaking plays a very important role. And depending on where the person is come from, the person speaks or slowly or speaks fast, now, and they decide if they cut words or they decide if they don't want to cut words, and the other
Mm-hmm.
factor that we can find in this situation is that the region of the speaker, where this person is from. If you analyze, if the person, for example, is from New York, if the person is from maybe is from Los Angeles, or if that is an European, or from London, or is from Switzerland, or from wherever, that is another problem. So when the person get used to getting contact with different English accents, well, they play and they can see, well, my understanding is going to be better. But the problem is sometimes that the lack of practice to listen to, it's a band, it's a wall that allows the students not to understand all what the speaker are saying, vocabulary, but to understand and to practice one video in certain ways. They recommend that it's very important at least to watch one video, not only once, in process. For example, this is a movie and it's in English. Okay, so what to do? They say, if you want to improve the understanding of a movie, you have to first to watch the movie, in English the first time. Second, they said you need to understand, you know, every minute of the story. So you need to sit down with a dictionary and with a caption. If the video gives you the chance to apply the caption segment, you need to check all the segment of the conversation minute by minute now, and analyze
Mm-hmm.
minute by minute of the movie now, and take a
Mm-hmm.
dictionary and analyze minute by minute. Soon after you finish the whole movie analyzing this, they recommend that it's better that you need to familiarize with the context. You need to watch this movie at least 50 times soon after you understand all the context. But they recommend you.
Mm-hmm.
You need to familiarize. You need to watch a movie with the intention not for fun. If you are an English student, you need to watch the movie not only for fun. They say you need to watch the movie with the intentions to improve it. To improve listening, to improve speaking, to improve vocabulary. You know, because in one movie,
Mm-hmm.
it's possible the student have access to learn a lot of expressions, a lot of informal English, a lot of vocabulary, but in one movie, you can feel that you can, at the end of the process, you may feel full, because you get a lot of information of this. But anyway, the person that I'm talking to you about that who lived in the United States in Miami, this person said when he arrived in the United States, a person recommended him the system, to watch a movie not only once, only with a process, you know, and after 2 and 3 years
Mhm.
doing the same process, the person who I'm talking to you about said, I could understand, I could improve my listening. I learned, the informal English through this movie, and I also learned
Mhm.
vocabulary. And every time he sits down to watch a movie, this person sits down only with the intention to improve, not only to watch a movie for fun, just to improve. So every time this person watches a movie, this person said, I learned new things from this movie. New expressions, new informal expressions, slangs. But that's a way that you improve it, And if you have these kinds of accents, you will improve. But you know what? The vast majority of students, they feel anxiety at first, but soon after the anxiety vanishes, and they say, no, teacher, this exercise is too hard for me, I prefer other method. But they forget that learning the informal English is also a good plus for them. You have tons of information, tons of, grammatical structures, tons of vocabulary words, but in real life, because movies, they show you, they displayed you informal English. Why not to learn informal English?
Mhm.
Do you understand me, Andres and Brandon?
Yeah, yeah,
What do you think
yeah.
of
I
what
got
I'm
the
telling
point.
you?
Yeah, I did it before. To be honest, I tried to watch a movie scene by scene. I mean, after 2 minutes, I played it again, and
Mhm.
also I watched it how they are pronouncing the words, and also I started imitating,
Mhm.
and it helped me to improve my accent also. And I'm really patient when I'm watching a movie, and I'm not in a hurry. I mean, uh, what we can say, to watch a movie just in one day. I just, watch it for a couple of minutes. After 20 minutes, I, what I have to shut down, my laptop, and the day after, that day, I try to watch it again. So it can help me a lot. And also I write down every phrases and vocabularies and idioms that is really interesting for me. And it was the process that I did before, but nowadays, as I told you, I don't have time to watch movie. But if I want to do it again, I will follow the same process.
Okay, good, good. I didn't know it's really, really supportive. And what do you think of that, Andres? This process.
I'm very, very interested. Yes, so see to movie is very important to learn English. Now it's possible with Netflix, for example. They are a lot series and movies. It's easy to listen in English, and with the traduction in English, with the letters in English, is a good combination for me, for example. Yes, it's necessary educate the
The
air,
ear.
the ear to the brain to listen the English. Yes.
And
Mhm. Uh,
yeah, so and what do you recommend? For example, Andres, if you want to advise someone else or if you want to,
Mm-hmm.
one person who wants or starts to learn to speak English, what's the recommendation for this person? Because when one
Oh,
person starts learning a language, the person has no a good orientation, and they said, "Oh, what to do?" I would like to speak to people who know and they speak the language and what works for you and what doesn't. What can you tell someone who wants to learn English and you say this system or this method or this exercise works for me? What can you tell him or her about it, Andres?
yes.
Okay,
First of
Brendan.
all, if someone who is, uh,
Well, Brandon,
as a
you
person who,
have experience to learn
uh,
English.
thank you. It's kind of you. As a person who is a novice, it's better, they can search on internet and also follow one podcast, for instance. And the best way is just start with listening. Imagine when one baby is born, they start listening and never start, talking.
Uh-huh.
It's better to listen, and after a while, when you improve your listening, you know how they are pronouncing the words. And also, you can consult some professional teachers such as Annabelle, and just by listening, as it gets better, you can start talking and also follow one method. And you just don't jump from, one podcast to another. And it is kind of a perfectionism. They say that, no, I think it is not good. Another one is better, and I have to try it again. So after a while, they put it away and they try to do another one. So it continues. Just try to follow one thing, from scratch, and never give it up until you finish it. And it's a miracle of consistency, I have to say. Exactly. But don't, as I told you, don't jump from, a different, uh, reference to another one, and you can get, mixed up. And after a while, you see that you can never learn anything. I face some people, unfortunately, they say that, I have to learn, I have to study this book. And so they study, some pages, and after that, they find another book. They say, oh, I think this book is not good. I have to try this one. So they study again this book, and they put it away again and start another one. And they can never learn English. Just try to start by one and finish it. And after finishing that reference, you can see the miracle of consistency.
Well, really
Yeah,
interesting.
that's it.
Yeah, that sounds so interesting. What do you think of that, in fact? What will you tell? The same question for you. If what do you recommend someone who wants to improve or speak English?
Yeah, it's important start with the bases to English. For example, the grammatical English, y, eh, eh, poco a poco, what do you
Little by
say,
little,
little, a little,
little by
yes, little,
little.
little by little. Uh, uh, Study all the time, read and write and speak. In the but the most important is the interest. The you uh, have to learn English or other language because if you don't have the interest to learn is I think is not possible learn. Uh, it's very important uh, the, to see the movies, try to interaction with other persons with speak English and necessary, I think, to have patience
Hmm.
to learn because this is a process. Y, y finally, the finally the you learn the language. Yes, I do.
Yeah, I also want to ask you another question. Why we can hear there are people who feel frustration to learn the language. Why? Because there are many people who feel frustration. Why to feel frustration to learn the language? Do you understand me?
Yeah, frustration, maybe it can happen for everybody at times, and also it happened to me before. At times, I couldn't speak English. I said, oh, I think, it's a bit difficult and I can't learn English. And, my friends helped me a lot. And fortunately, I had one friend, he had lived in Bolivia and he could speak, I mean, also, he's Persian, I have to say. He had lived in Bolivia for 5 years. He can speak Spanish and also English language. And when I got frustrated, called him and he told me that just be patient and patience can help you a lot. And I mean, continue and let's practice together and you can see, I mean, the consistency of learning. So after, I mean, a period of time, I reached the point that just frustration is normal for everybody and we are all human beings. At times we make mistakes. At times we are not perfect here, and we have to, I mean, go towards perfection. Perfection. But it's a long road. I mean, learning one language. And it's not kind of taking one pill and you can speak English overnight. No, it is impossible.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
that that, that is true. And what do you think of that, about the frustration when learning the language?
The question is with what is the
Yeah, because there are people who feel frustrations.
instruction?
Fr-
What is the
frustration.
instruction?
Frustration, frustration.
Persistation or the persistence in
No,
Spanish?
no. Frustration is to feel down. That is it. Oh,
Oh,
Ah,
disappointment.
yeah. That is the frustration. You don't feel
yeah,
good.
the frustration.
Yes,
In Spanish is frustración.
yes. That's
Ah,
correct.
yeah.
Yeah. So the question is that why are there people who feel frustration? At learning. So have you
No,
felt
it's
frustration?
very, it's very common in with my friends, my family. It's very common the frustration to learn English or other language because it's necessary practice and practice all time. And if you don't have the 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 what do you say when la you don't have
Yeah.
the persistence to
Persistency.
the persistence to study all time and practice, you can't uh, to have the good results. And uh, yes, I think the most important is the perseverance and mm, the patience to learn uh, English. Yes.
But I have a question.
Hmm?
I see. If according to the mathematical operation, if one person studies English, and this person reviews every day practices English every day, learn words every day, and interact with people every day, or this person reads in English every day, and this person speaks in English every day. Do you think that one person who follows all these steps at the end may feel frustration?
Mm.
Oh, yes, why not? At
Mm-hmm.
times it can, happen for everybody when you are studying hard. You see that you are tongue-tied. You can speak English, and you see what has happened to me by this amount of studying. I mean, this hours that I'm devoting and I'm studying English. Why can't I speak English fluently? And when it happens in Farsi for me, at times I'm not in a good mood and I feel that I can't speak Farsi at all. And the frustration comes to everybody, and it is just temporary. And as I told you, it comes to your attitude, and you have to have a good vision towards, learning. And when something, bad happens to you, you have to, tell yourself that it is temporary. Just be patient, and tomorrow you can start again. And the day after tomorrow, it can repeat again and again. Just as I told you, consistency and also practicing every day, you are going towards, perfection.
Well, yes. Well, it makes sense. And what do you think of that, Andreas?
It's important to know that the all persons all are different.
Mhm.
Uh, for example, for one person is easy to learn to play soccer,
Soccer.
or other basketball, other tennis, other learn language. All are different. It depends the for uh, a new person is more easy to learn language. Uh, and the most important is the perseverance and the patience and the continue to the process to learn
Mhm.
the language. That's
So sorry, guys. I have to say that I'm with you for a couple of minutes, and I have to go to bed because it's really
Okay.
late in our
uh,
country. I just
how
have
many
4 hours to sleep. But before going
what
to
time
sleep,
is
I
it?
have to
What time
consult
is it in
Hannibal.
your country?
It's around 2:30 a.m.
Oh my
Oh,
God. Oh,
yeah, that's
let us excuse us because no, it's too late. You have to wake up early in the morning too.
yeah.
Mm.
We-
Oh,
Thank
just this one sign of, motivation. Imagine now it's really late, but because of speaking English, now I'm awake.
Yeah,
uh,
that is true.
thanks,
But
Brandon, Brandon, for you for speaking English with me. Thank
yes,
you.
yes, thanks a lot for your
You're
time.
welcome.
Yeah, thanks a lot for your time. But anyway, well, we will have to be in touch. You know that whenever we have the chance, we can share the concert because it's really important for us. Brandon, my best wishes for you and happy dreams. And thanks a lot for your time.
You're welcome, Annabelle. It was a pleasure talking to you and also my bro, and hope that in the near future we can, find another opportunity to talk together.
Okay, okay. Likewise,
Thank you. Bye, Brandon.
Brandon. Okay, have a good night.
Okay, have a great night. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.